In today's rapidly changing work environment, HR professionals, employer branding specialists, marketing, communications, talent acquisition, leaders, I think we're all facing an increasingly complex challenge. And this challenge has to do with the global shift towards remote work, obviously coupled with workforce demands on empathy, freedom of choice, and in general, a deeper understanding of their role within an organization. I think these have all significantly altered the talent attraction and retention landscape. And when you work in any of these domains, you are navigating a world where the traditional markers of job satisfaction and employee engagement, I think they're being redefined. Talents today are not just looking for a job, they are looking for a meaningful work that aligns with their personal values, offers flexibility, and provides clear communication about goals and expectations. And I think that the rise of remote work has further amplified these demands, creating a gap in the feedback loop between employees, their teams, and line managers. And I think that this new reality has made it increasingly difficult for talents to gauge their performance and understand whether they are on a right track towards achieving their career objectives. My name is Susanna Rantanen, and I'm here to guide you to make the most of your HR, employer branding, and recruitment marketing careers so that you can experience professional joy, achievement, and success. And if you're new to this podcast, welcome, my friend. Now, for those of you who work in talent attraction, retention, branding, I'm talking about internal and external employer branding and talent acquisition. If this describes your alley, then you want to make this podcast your weekly routine. And in this episode of Building the Modern Employer Brand podcast, I address the greatest challenge for HR and talent acquisition, and that is talent attraction and talent retention. I explain why we're struggling with this right now and how you can start removing yourself and your organization from these struggles with a simple communication strategy. Are you ready to hear that out? Because we're going to move forward. The current talent market has been increasing in the competitiveness for years now. And I think that we are living in an era where the talent market is more competitive than ever. And we all know this. This is no news for us. Even if we put the blinders on, we experience it at work, in our work, every single day, in one way or another. Organizations are vying for the attention of a limited pool of highly skilled professionals who have the luxury of choice and are more discerning about where they choose to invest their time and their expertise. And by the way, I'm not talking about only potential job seekers out there. I'm also talking about the people who already work in your organization. Just because they have a job doesn't mean that they are not the prey for hungry recruiters and sourcers out. And this competition has escalated the importance of having a strong, distinctive employer brand that can cut through the noise and attract and retain the right talent. Now, right talent means those talents that either continue to feel strongly about your business purpose and customer promise and connect deeply with your values and the ways that you work. You want to make sure that those talents continue to understand your organization is their best place to work, despite of all these changes that are taking place internally and externally. And right talents also mean your future employees, those who match with what I just explained, but they are not ready yet. They may not be those that you are hiring currently, but they are those that you want to hire in the next couple of years. You want to make sure that you are inviting them to the candidate journey with your organization way before you want to hire them. This is key. This is key in a world where the work life is being reorganized into new ways of work and your business is transforming to match the criteria for success in this new era. I want to ask you something. Are you aware of how many organizations struggle to communicate their unique value proposition effectively based on the expectations and the standards of this new era. You only need to Google employee or employer value proposition and find how few of them actually match with the aspirations and needs of talents today. EVPs that focus solely on organizational benefits and career opportunities, I'm sorry, but those are outdated and they fail to match with talent expectations of this new era. And what is expected from you as the people representative of your employer? It's obviously to create a compelling employer brand narrative that resonates with the aspirations and the needs of those potential employees, not just about work, not just about their career, but especially about the entire life cycle. I call that the work to life combination. And this combo takes into account the entire life cycle of an employee and how everything at work impacts everything outside work, and how to make sure that us as the employer can provide them with what they need now and what they will find valuable assets in their future. This new challenge is compounded by the need for organizations to adapt their messaging to various platforms and mediums to reach their target audience effectively. And I want to emphasize here, effectively, internally and externally. This disconnect between the evolving expectations of the workforce and the traditional approaches to employer branding and talent management, it has created a pressing need for a strategy, a new strategy, a strategy that acknowledges the complexities of the modern work environment and addresses the growing demand for transparency, flexibility, and purpose-driven work. Now, I've mentioned the need for authenticity and transparency in many of these podcast episodes in the recent past, but also we're talking about flexibility of work and the purpose-driven work, which gives their work a meaning. The pain points, I think, are clear. Attracting and retaining talent has become a daunting task for leaders in HR, marketing, and communications because these are key pain points also in the top management. The question remains, how can organizations adapt to meet the needs of this new era of workers? I believe that the answer lies in the magnetic employer branding method, because this is a transformative approach that is designed to guide organizations through these intricacies of building an employer brand that doesn't only attract but also retains top talents by resonating deeply with their personal, professional aspirations, understanding how being part of this organization or how becoming part of this organization can turn around my life at work and outside work. And not just today, but also give me valuable assets that I can use in my future too. Now, before I talk about the solution, I want to dive deeper into understanding these challenges and recognizing the critical role of systematic communication in bridging the gap. We need to use communication more. Who has ever said that there's enough communication in an organization? I don't think anyone. No one ever said that. We have a critical role of systematic communication in bridging the gap between organizations and their employees and prospective employees. And I think it's time for a method that doesn't only support your organization successfully with the recruitment needs, but also equips your HR professionals and leaders with the tools to navigate the complexities of the modern workforce, offering better solutions for management, paving the way for greater success for the entire organization by introducing, implementing, and executing better communication. The magnetic employer branding method is a revolutionary framework. This is what it has been stated as. It's a framework that was designed to empower HR professionals, employer brand managers, and leaders to craft an irresistible employer brand, to bring alive a brand that becomes irresistible for current and future talents. And this method is not just about filling vacancies, even though I understand that oftentimes that's the first step in deciding to make a change process in the organization, a change in how we approach talents. But if you would use this method just for filling vacancies, you would lose so much potential of what this method has to offer to you. It's about weaving a compelling narrative that resonates with the aspirations and the desires of the modern talent pool. Breaching this gap with communications in between what your organization appears to be for your talents outside and inside the organization, and what all it can be and how it can transform their lives for the better, not just now, but for the future as well. It's about positioning your organization as an eminent choice. And by the way, maybe for the first time ever, I found a place where to use the word eminent, because the entire company name, employer branding agency Emine, comes from this word, eminent. So it's about positioning your organization as an eminent choice for discerning talents who are not just looking for a paycheck, but a purpose and a community and a way to use their skills and their potential for something that they find meaningful and giving them a purpose, filling their aspirations, giving them the opportunity to grow as a person, as a professional, and start creating the kind of life that they desire. The pain points of talent attraction and retention, I think that they are more pronounced than ever, with remote work blurring the lines of communication and feedback. I don't think we've discussed this enough for the significance of remote work blurring those lines actually has. Talents are yearning for a sense of direction and acknowledgement, making it crucial for organizations to adopt a more systematic approach to communication. People are working all over the place when they are working remote, and it's so much more difficult to be able to give them feedback because we're not seeing how they work, and we need to build a system that helps us with that. The magnetic employer branding method offers a solution to these challenges by emphasizing the importance of a cohesive, strategic communications framework that works internally and externally, and by the way, at the same time. This approach ensures that your employer brand doesn't only attract, but it also retains the best talents by providing them with clarity, recognition, and a sense of belonging that they crave. And at the heart of this method is that understanding that the employer branding is a strategic tool for navigating these complexities. And it's about creating a brand that talents are eager to be part of, one that offers them a clear vision of their career trajectory within the organization and makes them feel good about their choice, makes them feel good about being part of something that is empowering them on a daily basis. And I believe strongly that increasing systematic communications, organizations can actually demystify those expectations that they have for their people, celebrate achievements, and foster this culture of inclusivity, recognition, results orientation, and purpose, regardless of working remote, providing everyone with a sense of clarity and pride, regardless of any sorts of geographical boundaries. For those who are eager to learn more about this groundbreaking approach, I wrote a free PDF titled Building a Modern Employer Brand, Winning Sustainable Attention in a World where Talent Attention is no longer a default. This is available to you for free. This resource provides an insightful exploration of the magnetic employer branding method, gives you a practical sort of peek, a view into why we need to rethink what employer branding actually is, how to get more out of employer branding with the same budget, and my advice to you to change in the ways that you approach your talent audiences internally and externally when you want them to change the way they think about your organization or on your act on your wishes. I also share a communication process framework that you can adopt into your organization. It's part of this method. You can download this PDF from the show notes page for this episode at modernemployerbrand.com/podcast175, or from my LinkedIn profile's featured section, or you go to Instagram, find me at Rantanen Susanna, and DM me the word ebook, and I'll send you the link. Simple. That's all for this week, my dear audience. Don't forget to subscribe to Building a Modern Employer Brand podcast on your favorite app. And while you are there, why don't you rate this podcast too? And if you find this podcast valuable, can you share with 5 of your friends or colleagues working in HR, talent acquisition, or employer branding? Because, let's spread the word. Why don't we? But thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Same time, same place, and same day. Moi moi.